Hello, and welcome to this broadcast of Running on Love with God. My name is Laurie Michelle, and I was awakened to the voice of our Creator in April of 2009. He said, go get pen and paper and start writing this down, and I listened. And here I am, all these years later, speaking to you from Israel and sharing his voice and wisdom at a time where we desperately need his guidance. I'm here in Israel, and my friend Anna Marie is in Chicago. Hi, Anne Marie. Hello. And this program tonight is a very serious topic that I've addressed before, but it's time to address it again. And it's about doomsday. And the title of this program is The Doomsday Clock Says It's 2 minutes to midnight. Who is listening? And I posted this picture online with the Statue of Liberty. It looks a little eerie like the picture that I remember from the movie Planet of the Apes. And that dates me. That was from, was it the 70s?
I think so.
The 70s, where it was the end of the world and the apes have taken over. And I remember the actor, and I don't remember the actor's name, he thought he was in some foreign land or some other world. And at the end of the movie, they showed something like this, if you recall. And that's when he realized he wasn't on some other planet. Planet of the Apes was our world, Earth. So that's the topic. And I posted this, and I got a lot of thumbs up from India. I post these pictures on Facebook, and I promote them in India at Hashem God's request, by the way. But of course, America, my place of birth, and Israel, where I live now. And also South America, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And the most reaction that I get to these posts comes from India. So I asked the question, who is listening? And right now it looks like India's listening, but are you listening? Is anybody truly listening? And I did a background on the program, and I posted that as well, that asks a lot of questions and brings up the fact that the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists have turned the clock. They have a clock that signifies the end of the world, and they turned it to 2 minutes to midnight, signifying that we're on the brink of destruction. And that happened just about a week ago. So the scientists who don't speak about God are concurring with God himself. We are on the brink of human destruction. Our world will end as we know it if we don't step up, wake up, and do what's right. And so I'll turn it over to you and not talk much more and let you ask questions, Anna Marie.
I'm going to ask your first question, which is, what does God say about the doomsday clock and this dire warning?
He says it's true, but I'll go into more detail because I said to him, well, 2 minutes to midnight is, it's not 2 minutes, obviously. It's symbolic. It's filled with symbolism. So I asked him the obvious question, how close are we to our end? So he said, well, you ask me a time frame, and then I will say yes or no. So I said to him, Hashem, do we have more than 5 years? And his answer was no. I said, do we have 4 or more years? And his answer was no. And then I asked him, do we have more than 3 years? And he said no. He said less than 3 years. Now, who's going to listen? Who's going to take that seriously? It sends me into wild tears because I know it's really him. He's really speaking to me and through me. And now we have the scientists concurring. But they're not just talking about testing of nuclear weapons and Korea and President Trump. war of words. They're talking about that, of course, but they're talking about climate change and all the problems that we have all around the world. It's a powder keg, and we're all lighting the match, and we're ready to blow.
How is this different from all the other times that we've heard that things are about to end?
I'm going to ask you a question. What times? When we...
Well, in the 70s...
Give me a for instance.
Okay, in the 70s, we were told that the Earth was cooling down and we were about to enter another ice age. And that by this time, the world would be over because we could not possibly survive another ice age.
So there was a prediction that the world would be over by, it's now 2018. We would be finished.
Right.
And this was from the scientists, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that. I remember growing up, and I wrote this in the intro to this program, going to school as a young child, and there was always a doomsday prediction. At 3 o'clock today, the end of the world. And we would all sit there and stare at the clock, tick, 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 to see if the world would end. And then we would laugh and chuckle, and we'd go home and yeah, right, sure. And we had a lot of those, and you told me you never experienced that, but I experienced that more than one time. And I also recall, it was probably the Cuban Missile Crisis, because I was a toddler. I was born in 1959, and I believe that was in the early 60s, right?
It was.
And I just remember being very small, and my mother was, and we had radio. I don't believe we even owned a TV. And she was by the radio listening intently. It's going to be the end of the world, World War III. And she was very nervous. And of course, we lived through that. So we've had a lot of alarm bells, a lot of things that have happened over the years. But right now is decidedly worse than ever. And whether you believe me or not, whether you listen to these programs or not, and I know you believe me, Anna Marie, I hear him. And I don't know the future. He doesn't give me doomsday predictions like you see on the internet. On July 23rd, on this date is the end of the world. He doesn't do that. He gives stark warnings. And we still have free will. Just because it's 2 minutes to midnight, and just because he's telling me we have 3 years or less to get our act together, doesn't mean we won't get our act together and correct what needs to be corrected and start moving on the right path and avoid destruction. Does everybody want to see the prophecy come true, and then they could say, I don't know if they won't be around to say it, oh, prophecy was true. We don't want this to be true. Isn't that the point?
We don't want it to be true, but it seems like if the world is going to end, it's out of our control. It's way too big a thing, and what can I do to prevent that?
And that's exactly why I started doing these programs with you about over a year ago, to bring light to many different topics where each of us have responsibility to do better. Because peace will come through all of us. We each have a part in the world to come if we choose to. This war of wars that has been prophesied in the Bible, and all three major monotheistic religions believe in this prophecy of a great war, is about to begin. And I cry and I lament and I ask him, does this really have to happen? And he says, yes, this war is going to happen. But whether the end of the world comes is dependent upon each of us.
So we can't stop the war. There's nothing that we can do individually to stop that from happening.
Well, it's collectively all of humanity's choices compiled over many, many years, and a continuation of getting everything, not everything, but many things, if not most things, wrong. It's the tendency of every human being to choose evil over God. And that's what we're looking at around the world. And people are in denial that they're participating in this evil. But everybody on any given day is choosing it at least a little bit. And some people are choosing it all the time. And we see who those people are. They're deeply evil, sadistic people. Those people are not likely to heal and come with us in the world to come. He predicts that we will wake up, that we will wake up to how we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to choose. And we will spend our time daily learning how to choose correctly in every moment. That's where all of us have to go. We need to learn how to choose God without exception in every moment.
What if 75% of us wake up and start making better choices, start making right choices? Is that good enough?
It's good enough that the world will not end as we know it. If less than half of us wake up, it's not good enough. We need to tip the scale into the good column, so to speak. Right now, we're on the side of evil. The balance of the scales between good and evil is tipped towards evil right now. People are choosing the wrong thing more often than choosing the right thing. And on this path, we are headed for destruction. So his prediction to me is both. He's warning, at this moment in time, we are heading for destruction. Over. He said to me almost 9 years ago, wake them up or I will end the world the way I began it, with a big bang. Can you imagine waking up to that?
You
so
wouldn't.
I was like Chicken Little, come on, wake up, it's really him. And it got me in a boatload of trouble. But the explanations have become deeper. They're all tied to Torah, the Bible. And he hasn't changed much of what he said from the beginning.
So are the preppers on the right track?
Are the who?
Preppers, people who have their own shelters and they have stockpiles of food and water and they're prepared to wait out the coming Armageddon?
No. You need to be prepared. You can't, here's where we need to be prepared. That's all good. Having water, canned goods, because the war's coming. Having a bomb shelter, good. That doesn't mean you're welcome in his world to come. If there is a world to come, right now, we haven't earned the right for this world to continue on. His prophecy that he shares in the Bible is that the world will live on. There will be a redemption of the world. But who is welcome and who is not decided now. Right now, nobody is welcome. And that really is going to be, how could you say that? The Christians think all they have to do is say a few words of acceptance and accept God, and they're going straight to the pearly gates. And it's simply not true. The Muslims are going to inherit the world, and the infidels will all die, and that's simply not true. The closest to analyzing prophecy that's truthful are the Jewish people, and they have some things wrong too. So I won't go into where everybody has it wrong right now, because we need to connect. We need to come together and understand where we all have it right. We're heading to world war. Doesn't that startle you? Or is it just another video game? Another video on YouTube? This is the real deal. This is the end of days. This is the back of the book, both in the Christian Bible and in the Torah, the Chumash, prophecy. We're watching it right now. And it's being validated by the scientists, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, who I don't even know that they believe in God.
No, but you said that they moved the clock to the same place in 1953 when the U.S. and the Soviet Union were testing the hydrogen bomb. So according to them, it's been that bad, and then it's gotten better, so it could get better now too, right?
And it's supposed to get better, but it will not. It's very much like the program we did, Are We God's Puppets? Are we puppets on a string? Are we little God puppets? And it's all going to turn out anyway because he's orchestrating everything. That's simply not true. We have free will, Anna Marie. And although he does insist with me that there will be a world redemption and the good people who choose God over evil will be welcome in his world to come, he says the bloodletting that will occur will be gut-wrenching. He says not millions, billions will perish. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or are they just words that are bouncing off everybody's head like ping pong balls? It's infuriating to me that nobody is really acting in a way that takes these warnings, both from the scientific field and the religious field, the religious people. No one's listening.
Okay, so let's say that some people are listening,
Okay.
but we also need to act. So what would you like to see happening? What would be evidence for you that people are listening and are beginning to act on what you've been saying?
I have seen tiny sparks from some people. You're correct. You're a spark. I don't know if you know that, Anna Marie. You're a spark. You're awake. You're involved. You're not being paid to do this. I'm not being paid to do this. You're listening. How many people are listening to this program? How many people are sharing this program? How many people are scoffing at me and saying, go away, Laurie Michelle, you don't know anything? More people are scoffing at me and ignoring me than listening. And I'm not saying that I'm the only one to listen to. I'm saying that I am a voice that is honest and genuine, and I'm a mom and I care. And I'm not being paid to do this. I'm not making money doing this. As a matter of fact, I've sacrificed my entire life to do this. And so I wonder, the thousands of people that I know on LinkedIn, former business associates, you're one of them, but there are many who are not picking up the phone saying, hey, Laurie, what's going on? Tell me more. Why? I'm the same Laurie who did marketing campaigns and helped people make lots of money for years. And I was intelligent and genuine, and people really enjoyed working with me. Why are they not listening to me? Why?
Because it's too scary and we don't want to hear it, and because we're busy running our schedules and running our errands and doing things day to day.
And imagine how heartbreaking it is for me, because I'm watching what's happening and he shows me visions of what's coming imminently. Would you like to hear some of them?
Yes.
Okay. He has shown me a bridge. I won't tell you which one. Very famous bridge in America, falling crumbling in half and falling into a very famous body of water. A vision, not a dream, a vision. And we spoke. I said to him, is that literal? Is that particular bridge going to fall and be hit by a terrorist act or act of war? And he said, maybe. But he has told me, Anna Marie, that war will reach the United States. People will die, and that will wake people up, unfortunately.
So that is what it's going to take?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this in a nice way with you. We laugh, we talked about animals, we talked about
Santa Claus.
speech. You know, the animal program was fun. And even the Americans liked that program. They watched, a bunch of Americans watched that program. But when I get involved in anything to do with God or doomsday or Armageddon or prophecy, they run for the hills. They don't want to know. And another vision I woke to was a soldier, and I couldn't tell if it was an American soldier or an Israeli IDF soldier. And the reason I couldn't tell, it looked like an American soldier, but the American had steel rods. I believe it was American. He won't tell me. It could be either. The American soldier, what looked like to be an American soldier, had steel rods holding his back. Like, brace yourself. The metaphor was brace yourself. And this soldier was rocking and praying wildly. And that's what a Jewish person does. But I couldn't tell if this was a Jewish soldier, or American soldier, or an IDF soldier. It was just a soldier who looked very American. And that was the message. Brace yourself. It's coming. I want to add one more thing to what I just said. In America, it's very quiet and wonderful, so you think.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But you live near Chicago, and last year over 500 people were murdered in gun violence. Not that many people were murdered in Israel from acts of terror. But people will say to me, oh, you're in Israel, be careful, Lori. And I agree, be careful. But if I were getting on a plane to visit you in Chicago, nobody would say, oh, be careful, Lori.
Well, they would tell you not to go to certain neighborhoods.
Anna Marie, you're all in a bubble. You're all in a bubble. What's going on? Do you realize how awful that statistic is? And that's not even how many people were harmed in gun violence.
Right.
That's just how many people died in one city in the United States. But everything's fine. Let's go golfing. Let's play tennis. Let's go to the beach. Not in my backyard. It's fine. I'll give you another example of how Americans are not awake. They're not listening in large numbers. And when I say these things, I'm saying very blanket statements. Of course, not everybody is not listening. Some people are listening. They just don't know what to do. They're frightened. Right. They don't know what to do.
Right.
I was on LinkedIn a few days ago, and on my news feed, there were a video of two women scantily clad, and one of them was wearing just like a bra or a bikini top, bare midriff, spandex pants, lots of makeup, with a gun. And she took her gun and she, target practice. And the two of them, after she was done shooting, leaned against each other and made this sexual movement. They were like, like cats. And the one who was shooting the gun let out some expletives, curse words. And there was hundreds of thumbs up, mostly men. And The title of the video was Bad Girls. Bad Girls in caps. Like bad girls is good. Do you see how twisted everybody's minds are? So I saw this and I wrote my comment. It's on my newsfeed. And I can't ignore anymore what I see. They're glorifying shooting a gun. Like this is the embodiment of the new female. And this is something to applaud. But what it got was lots of thumbs up and lots of lewd comments from men saying that they were hot. I have to admit, they're hot, you know? A woman with a gun, half naked, it's hot. And so I said some comments and I got some pile on and they started calling me names. And one person called me a Bible pumping Puritan who thinks every woman should wear skirts to their ankles. Okay. I'm not a Bible pumping Puritan. I pump iron, by the way. I work out. I wear blue jeans. But I believe in God. I know he's real. And I read the Torah and the Bible. And it's the truth. And no one wants to hear it. And there was a pile-on and vicious personal attacks against me. And I didn't attack back, but I stated my case and left the conversation. But what I want to bring to light here is guns are not glory. They may be necessary to protect us. But the embodiment of being female is not to sport a bikini top and shoot a machine gun. We're heading to war. It's a game in America. It's sexual. It's hot. It's Rambo. You're living in a movie, Hollywood. I live in Israel, and little girls, 18-year-old girls, are walking around with machine guns, not because it's hot or sexy, but because we're on the brink of war. I cry. I don't want to see little girls with guns.
So what are we supposed to do?
Wake up and understand this is real, this is happening, and start listening to these programs. Go pick up, start with your own Bible. I'm not here to convert anybody, God forbid. This is not about religion. This is about God. And this is about prophecy. Go get a book on prophecy. Learn. But more important than learning about prophecy and what's in store is start doing the self-work and work on yourself. 2 minutes. Because the evil that we see everywhere in the world is a choice that every human being is making every day. And that's what's causing all the problems in all the world, is the choice of evil over goodness, over God. And we need to learn when it is that we're choosing the wrong thing. People are giving thumbs up to naked women shooting guns and cursing. Like that's the embodiment of femininity. And it's sinful.
How quickly can we turn this around?
It's a process. The first part of the process, and it will take years. It will take years to heal this world. We're heading for war, Anna Marie, and the war can't be avoided because nobody is getting it right. And you don't just wake up one day and say, okay, I'll get it right, but you don't really even understand where you're going wrong. Education is our cure. Education, love, and charity. And recognizing that his laws are for our benefit, that God is real, that we don't know better than him. And to accuse someone of being a Bible-pumping Puritan because you don't want to hear about God or his laws is wrong-headed, and it's going to give us more of what we're seeing. And here's the wake-up call from me. I'm a really nice person. I'm a mom. I'm sweet. I'm maybe not so sweet. I don't know.
You are.
Well, I try to be nice about this, but I say to him, Hashem, I'm trying. They're not listening. And he said, Lori, they will wake up. He said, I have my ways. That should scare you. As beautiful and amazing as he is strong. He is no nonsense. He will rip your limbs right from your body if it's for your spiritual benefit. People think this is why we're here. It's all about this. It's all about things and iPhones and Ferraris. It's about our soul. It's about your soul. Wake up. He's real. He's talking to me and through me. Share this program. I'm telling you, we're heading to war, and it's not many years from now. It's now. And he says it can't be avoided because too many of us are choosing the wrong thing. We need to learn when we're choosing the wrong thing and learn how to choose correctly. That's it for tonight. I hope you'll tune in again and go to lauriemichelle.net. I have many programs. The videos are endless. Now there's over 200 of them on many subjects, showing you where we're going wrong, revealing everyday situations where you may be choosing the wrong thing unwittingly. Please listen, learn, and work for peace, and share this program. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my email list on my website, lauriemichelle.net. There'll be more to come. God bless you. Let's work for peace in our time. God bless you.